reports. So fast forward, working there for 5 years, I decided to move on. I want to do something more on my own. I did try to work for a lot of local CPAs, and I was not looking to go to corporate. I wanted to rather find like a local firm, and most of them, didn't want to hire me. Like one guy went for the interview. He's like, middle of the interview, are you going to open your own firm? I'm like, probably one day. So he's like, okay, so leave. So like, so I was like stuck a little bit where I was trying to find a job, and CPAs didn't want to hire me because they saw me as a threat. One guy tells me, you're gonna have to take a pay cut. I said, I'm ready to take a pay cut because I was just looking to learn the industry and get more familiar with taxes, because usually local firms are more focused on taxes. Usually the big firms would be more on audit. So I had a very strong finance background, but not a tax background. So after like a half year of not landing any jobs, I decided to open a bookkeeping company on my own. So I figured I'll do bookkeeping for small to medium-sized businesses. And the eventual goal was to turn that into a CPA firm. However, things went differently. So like 6 to 8 months into my bookkeeping firm, I started working with the Amazon sellers. Now, when I started working with Amazon sellers, like I remember the first client came to me with like nothing. He's like, a private label seller, so it means he had a private brand, and he wants to take this, and he's buying out his partner, but his partner is not a partner in the whole Amazon business. So with a private label brand, means say each product, usually you would not sell too many, but you're bringing a lot of products from like overseas, like China. So they had like 15 different SKUs that they were importing, and the partner, let's say partner A only had like 5 SKUs that he was a partner with. The other 10, partner B owned himself. So when partner B wanted to do the buyout of partner A, they needed to have profitability analysis on a SKU level, but down to every penny. It wasn't just like a plain estimate, because they wanted to do a proper due diligence, and he wanted to also perform a proper buyout and do an evaluation, but only of those 5 SKUs that partner A had a partnership in. So that's where I started my game, and that's where I got like very into it. Then I was looking to expand my bookkeeping company, and I was trying to think of different ideas how I can approach the industry. I probably spent like $25,000 on advertising, which I learned afterwards the hard way. In the accounting industry, um, the people will connect to accountants and bookkeepers based on trust than actually based on advertising. So that part, it's in accounting, it's really hard to take like a shortcut. Like business, if you launch a product, maybe you go on TikTok, you go viral. You can sell out. With
Yeah.
accounting, it's hard. You're like this nerdy accountant, and everybody has to like
They
get
gotta
to know
they gotta
you.
feel you out first and make sure they
Yeah,
can trust you. Yeah.
it's hard. So realizing that aspect in the accounting industry, um, I was like, okay, so how can I really expand? Now, when I was working with the Amazon seller, after spending like a half a year putting together a bunch of data models, and getting all the data massaged and sorted out, and getting it into QuickBooks, I was like, what if I can just do what I did to this guy for a bunch of other people, and just like streamline it, automate it, and if I can automate it, I'll get faster turnaround, and I can give better pricing. So I spoke to a friend of mine he had a shop where he was doing custom software, and I asked him if he would be able to do something like this, and he's like, yeah. So that's really where the idea came out, and so that's when we started Connect Books, and then I started pitching it to other sellers, and they're like, look, we have an in-house bookkeeper, or we're using a different bookkeeper that we have a good relationship, but your tool really sounds awesome. So what we did is we took our company, split it into two, and we run the software today, completely independent. We still run our bookkeeping firm, and you can eat. So for the people who just have an in-house bookkeeper or have a different bookkeeping firm, they would just sign up for the software, and they would just use it. And it's a little interesting, because in the beginning, mainly I was very focused on my bookkeeping, and then I started the software, as a side part. And afterwards, like a few years later, the software started feeding a lot of bookkeeping business to the bookkeeping company.